Now here's one doozy of a question for you. What would you do if you came home from school one day and caught your mom in bed with your best friend? Well, that's what happened to one of our guests today. I want you to meet 20-year-old Jeff, who says he left home when his best friend moved in and started sleeping with his mom. I also want you to meet his mom, Kay. I can't imagine what you would do in that situation. What happened?
Well, I confronted her with it, and she denied it at first, and I said, well, you guys were underneath the blanket, you know, what else could you be doing?
What else were you doing, right? How did you discover your mom in bed with your best friend?
I happened to come upstairs, and they were in the living room in the hide-a-bed, and
not hiding very much, right? Okay, go on.
And when I came upstairs, they covered themselves up, and so I just went back downstairs, and the next day I confronted her with it, but she denied it. And
well, Kay, what were you doing?
We were sitting there talking.
Under the blankets on the hideaway bed.
Well, I got under the blanket when I heard Jeffrey come upstairs because I didn't know if I knew he wouldn't understand why I was sitting there on the bed talking to Jeremy.
Uh-huh. So what did you do when you first, boy, the reaction, what did you do?
Well, when I confronted her with it and she denied it, I said, I know what's going on. I said, well, it's either me or him, you know.
And Mom, you said what?
Told him that wasn't a fair statement for him to make to me because, he didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. It was something, well, I knew what was going on in that area, okay?
It's like, oh, come on, Kay.
It was something that was hard for me. I never thought I would be in that type of a predicament.
Yeah.
Especially considering when I first met Jeremy, I did not like him.
Now, Jeremy and Jeff were friends, right?
Yes.
Tell me how this happened. Clearly there was an attraction. How did it all start?
He would sit and stare at me. If I got up and left the room, he would make sure that he would be in my way to where I would bump against him or something. Other than literally climbing over the furniture.
And then what happened? There was a ride home in a car one night.
Yeah.
What happened?
He was being extremely obnoxious that night, and I was going to teach him a lesson so he would leave me alone.
He was being obnoxious, doing stuff like what? Wait, forget what he was doing. Get to the lesson you taught him.
Well, I figured because I had kept avoiding him and telling him to go away and leave me alone, I figured if I came on strong to him, he would instantly back down and...
You thought you'd scare him?
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
What'd you do?
Well, we stopped to talk, and I'd ask him, I said, what is this? Why can't you leave me alone? And he goes, well, I like you. And I said, well, that's nice. So do 50 million other people in the world. And he goes, no. He says, I like you. And I said, Jeremy, I'm too old for you. And he goes, age doesn't have anything to do with it. He said, I like you. And I said, well, if you want to get laid, you can go anywhere in Omaha and get laid. There's... And he says, no, that's not it. He says, I like you more than that. And we start, it was strange.
What did you do?
Well, other than sitting there talking, and then he leaned forward and kissed me. And so I kissed him back. And I expected him to pull away, and he didn't.
He didn't?
No.
I think it's time we meet Jeremy. Come on out, Jeremy. How you doing? Welcome. Come on, sit down. Sit down. So, Jeremy, are you in love?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Tell us how this all started. How did you start getting attracted to your best friend's mom?
Well, when I first met her, I didn't really like her because, I've heard a lot of bad stuff about her, how much of a mean lady she is, but she's not really, when I first started, talking to her all the time, she was really nice. So, and then we just started bumping into each other.
Were you ever kind of concerned, I don't know if I should be doing this. This is my best friend's mom, after all.
Yeah, and some of my friends, I talked to them, and they were like, well, this is just Jeff's mom, But
Jeff, what do you think about this romance?
I think it's pretty disgusting myself.
What is has it done for you guys' friendship?
We're not really good friends anymore.
Kay's own sister doesn't like this thing either. She says that Kay needs to stop thinking of only herself. She's worried that she's caring about her lover more than she's caring about her kids. We're going to see what else Kay has to say, and I'd like to deal with a little bit more with what effect all of this has had on your family and your friends. I see you got some friends here, and we'll see what a little bit everybody has to say. We'll be right back in a minute.